Hey, you guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey, Scott.
I'm good. Yes, yes. Forgive me if I'm a little bit sleepy because it's quite late in the UK, but well worth it to talk to you about this incredible movie because I absolutely
Oh,
loved it.
thank
So
you.
congratulations on that. Really charming. It's full of personality. It's really vibrant, and I really, really enjoyed it. I just wondered for you both when you read the script for the first time, did you feel similar? Geraldine, maybe I'll start with you.
Definitely. It felt like such a classic rom-com in so many ways, but with such a breath of fresh air. It just felt like a modern take on the classic rom-com that we all know and love. And I felt like I felt like I knew people like all these characters. It just felt so believable. So, and obviously I fell in love with the character Lucy. I think she's a very I think it's really brave of her to live so fully and out loud, and she wears her heart on her sleeve, and that's in this world that's a hard thing to do. So I was totally inspired by her and wanted to live in her shoes for a little bit.
Yeah, and Dacre, how about you?
Yeah, mate. I think sort of I second a lot of what Geraldine's saying, but for me it was also a bit of a pivot from Stranger Things. I think in many respects, and really pushed me to get outside of my comfort zone, and learn about improvisation and the world of not just like drama and comedy, because I feel like it's such a blanket thing to say, but just the world of moving very quickly on your feet in a collaborative sense, I think is the best way I could probably put it. And it really did push me every day. And I think I learned a huge amount. And it's exciting to see something so different from anything that I've done before and so wonderful to be released cinematically.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would have been very, very strange to see you do things you did in Stranger Things in this. That would have been that would have been quite
Very
a
strange indeed.
very strange
Yes.
indeed. But the one thing I loved about it is it reminded me of my favorite rom-com, which is When Harry Met Sally, which I think for a lot of people is the epitome of what it should be. And there's lots of echoes in that, in the sense that your characters are very much, as you say, they're very vibrant and they feel of their time, and I thought that was fantastic. I just wondered for you guys how important that was, that they did feel of now, a 21st century kind of people that aren't quite sure their place in the world, if you like. Dacre, maybe I'll start with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it in many respects, it is a modern take and a homage, I guess, to what is happening or happened until this year. But I think also, obviously, there's a lot of themes that are synonymous year after year about falling in and out of love. That's something that I feel is universal, and B, is timeless. And that's why rom-coms are so often, if they're good, really popular, because people have that inbuilt level of, I might not have had an experience that was anything like what's going on screen, but I can relate, whether I was born in 1925, 1980, or 2005, right? And I think that's what's great, is that universally, if this can capture multiple demographics, that's all you aim to do in a romantic film, right? Because all you're reflecting is man, man, woman, woman, man, and woman. Like whoever falls in love, you can fall in love with anyone at any time, and it should be universal. And I think the great thing about this film is it is that, and it encapsulates such an A, diverse cast, B, topics that are universal. And I think both in Nick and Lucy obviously bring baggage and history to their friendship and then to their ultimate relationship throughout the whole film. And it's nice to see that extrapolated on. And that's all you can hope for. That's quite a long-winded answer, but yeah,
I think you answered it all. It's a pretty good answer. Geraldine, for you, I wanted to ask you about Lucy because she's such an amazing character, and I can imagine that she was difficult to put down when you read the script. And did you find some of yourself in her, or is she very different to you? And that's what was exciting when you came to play her.
I think she's me when I feel my most confident. I think day to day, I think I'm more introverted, and Lucy is just so extroverted. She's the life of the party. She can make friends wherever she goes, and that's something that I thought was so admirable, and is a real reflection of Natalie Krinsky, the writer director. She is that person. Like it's this magnetic quality. So I related to Lucy a lot, but it was also a little aspirational. I was also like, I kind of want to be more like Lucy.
And I read as well before that your director, and this is a big compliment, and I wanted to get Dacre's opinion on this, is that she says you have the comedic timing of Lucille Ball, which is quite high standards and quite a big person to rub shoulders with in many ways. I mean, Dacre, how is that for you working on that, given that you haven't maybe done as much comedy stuff as you say, and that this
none to be
yeah
fair.
none. I mean, was that a challenge for you, and also even more of a challenge given that Geraldine apparently, given her, so your director says, is pretty good at it.
Well, Geraldine's fantastic at it. She's extremely talented, and I have said this before in a couple of other interviews, but both figuratively and literally, I was holding Geraldine's hand through the process, and she was kind enough to extend me the time and the energy to be able to help me navigate, I guess, this unknown playing field or subset of like the craft of being an actor or a comedian or whatever you want to call it. I hate type pigeonholing things, but whatever it is, Geraldine held me and helped me through it. So I'm forever thankful for that. And it was a huge learning curve, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me to make a fool of myself, is probably the most honest thing I can tell you. It was not easy for me to get rid of this like analytical, internal kind of thing. I don't know. So it was great to break down some barriers for me.
Yeah. And Geraldine, I mean, what was your reaction when you heard that she was saying that you were very much like Lucille Ball, which is high praise indeed?
That's crazy. That's so I mean, Lucille Ball is the classic, and I think that was sort of in the back of Natalie's mind. I mean, the character's name is Lucy, so I think, and like I think our dynamic is very similar to I Love Lucy. So that's very, very flattering, very sweet.
I mean, this film's coming out at a time when the communal cinema experience isn't quite what it usually is, and this is one of those movies that people, particularly couples or friends or anything else, go and see movies together. But it's a different experience now. Are you guys still hopeful that people seek it out regardless of where they watch it, whether they watch it in the cinema or whether they decide to watch it at home?
Massively. I think if they have an opportunity to watch something in a cinema, they should. Geraldine, I believe you spoke to her the other day, but I spoke to Jen Yamato from the LA Times, and she released a piece May 1st this year. She interviewed a whole lot of different writer, directors, makeup artists, and she asked everyone in these different sort of facets of the industry, what do you think about things reopening? How do you think the change will look? And it was a really, really nice piece, because it also had this veil, the sort of veil was pulled back, and there was a lot of hope and optimism from people in the industry. And I think there is still very alive and strong a generation that does want to go to the cinema. The biggest thing that I want to see is the younger generation want to go to the cinema as well. And there's not a loss of that need to have that collective experience in the cinema lost in the younger demographic. I think that will be crucial. But I also feel like there's a lot of change, as you're saying, change, pivot. They're all big words being used this year. And I think that I hope it does land, because there's nothing quite like it. You know what I mean? Even if you have a great TV and you've got a great surround sound experience at home, I hope that people, we're social creatures, even if you're an introvert, it's inbuilt into our DNA. And I think getting out into the world will be so crucial after this. And I hope that people will want to take those steps to do that.
I hope there's a newfound appreciation for it. I think maybe we'll feel that, but I'm good with not watching a movie on my laptop or on my TV for a while. I'm ready to go to the theater.
Totally.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I love the film.
Thanks,
and
Scott.
I wish you all the best with it. Thank you so much for your time. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,